We have a room. It is done and ready for furniture and decoration. And stay with us, and after the opening, I'll show you how we got here. Hi, welcome to part 4 in the Woodland Nursery series. The last thing I did, part 3, is I got my outside mural done. In part 2, I got my outside window wall done and my floor done. So I need to get these assembled and with my wood glue, and then add my trim and do some touch-up painting to blend in where the pieces key in together. So that's what we're going to do today. To assemble your diorama, you're going to need some glue. I used, like I showed you earlier, the wood glue. I used the Ultimate, but it's probably a bit of overkill, but any wood glue will work. The pieces are keyed so that they should go together and be plumb and level without requiring any screws or nails or clamps. But you will want to hold it together until this sets up a little bit. I use my painter's tape because that's not going to pull off any of my painting from the exterior. the diorama assembled. I went ahead and took all the blue tape off, and I had started, I'll turn the light on for us. I had started some of the touch-up paint to blend in the sides. I still need to do my concrete here, and I still need to glue on my other trim piece. And I'm going to show you guys, it looks like I might actually need to do a little touch-up paint. My siding ended up being just a little short on this corner. And so I kind of winging my order of operations here since it's the first one, but I did go in the garage and I got my trim pieces. I'm going to try to bring this closer to the camera. Now, you can buy trim for dollhouses in the craft stores and through dollhouse suppliers, but I actually got this at the home improvement store. It's meant to be trim used on the edge of drawers or bookcases and stuff. So it comes in different widths and different profiles, different shapes. But I think this one makes a pretty good baseboard in one direction and crown molding or chair rail in the other. And along with that, I decided that the wall with the window needs a little something. So I have a gabillion, well, okay, not a gabillion, I have 200 tongue depressors. And I'm gonna have to go through here because I'm not gonna be able to use all of them. I want to make sure I get the ones that are flat, right? And not use the ones that have become bowed. And if you can see that one, it's bowed this direction. So I keep these, but these are not going on the walls. I need the flat ones because I'm going to trim them. Because if you remember, our house has little score marks for a chair rail, so I want to do a wainscoting. I want to do a half panel on the window wall. But I don't want to do just plain boards. I got a package of these little 1/4 inch, well, not, they're 1/8 inch square dowels. Very small. So my plan is to have one square dowel between each of the wide popsicle sticks, so the wide boards. So it's going to be a little bit more primitive or cabin-like because you'll have this ridge that'll stick up. So, and I do need to put some tape down to protect my floor. I think I'm only going to do this wall. I think I'm going to leave this wall without. We'll see how that looks. And then, because I am limited on how much of the other trim I have, if I don't have enough of this to do the baseboards or the top, then I have these dowels, which are the ones I use for the outside trim. And I can even cut some of this down to size. The clapboard is one piece, but I can cut between the clapboards and then trim them down and use those as plain baseboards along the bottom. So that's what I've got going there. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure and number them for each piece and put them in here, number the backs of pencil. I will protect my floor with some of my blue tape, and then I will try to stabilize the outside so that I can glue and tape them down. I won't be able to use the weight because that might damage the stuff on the outside of the wall. So I did come back real shortly because To do the wainscoting or the trim on the walls, I have these. These are a pair of snips that are meant for small sticks and stuff, like the popsicle sticks. And they do have this little piece here that actually turns, so I can cut them at a straight angle or, you know, different angles. That works really well for the popsicle sticks and some of the other stuff. Some stuff that'll crush it or it's too thick. So I have this little miter box and saw, little Japanese saw. And then that one will do a 45 or a 90. There's actually a couple of other angles that you can do with this, but those are the two I usually end up using the most. And when it comes to the crown molding, I need to make sure that I cut it so that the 45 goes this way, because they have to be able to join this way, just like you do with your house. So those are the tools I'm using for this step. progress check yesterday. I got all of the trim glued, including my little piece on the back, and used my tape basically to kind of work like a clamp just to hold it on there until the glue had set. And before I go and start taping off and painting, I have protected my floor with just a piece of saran wrap and some tape. And what I want to do is I want to give it more of a finished look before I paint it. So I have my plastic wood. It's sandable and paintable because that's what I have available. And it's just a little paste. And I'm just going to kind of put it in there to kind of smooth out any gaps or corners and things like that. When that dries, then I'll be ready to paint the walls, which will be this cream color. And I think I might use this green beige as a trim color, just because it's a nice neutral backdrop to things. And I'll be painting the inside of the window that color, the skirting boards that color, and my window pieces that color, because I want to go ahead and paint my window pieces before I put glazing in them. And it's honestly easier to paint the windowsill piece before attaching it to the window. So that's hopefully I'll be able to get that accomplished this week. Today is Friday. Last week I ended up working part of Saturday to finish, so I'm trying to not be working on the weekend. I did get started on the blanket for the crib, and that pattern, hopefully that'll be ready next week. of the sheepskin on the walls, and this one I know I want to put some wallpaper, so I just did a minimum of 2 coats just so that if I choose a thinner paper, the color of the MDF is not gonna show through. And I went ahead and put my taping and blocked off my trim so that I can apply the oatmeal paint, which is that kind of brownish color. And then I'm going to start in my window, and I think I'm going to go ahead and tape off the trim and go ahead and paint the trim. This one I want to keep painted, just the cream, and I do see some places where I'm going to have to go over it again with a 3rd coat. So that's what I'm going to do. need some time to dry. And while I'm waiting for the trim to dry, I went ahead and started on my window frame parts. So I've got the top and the bottom, so that just that way if there's any gap or whatever, or when you see in, you won't see the bare wood. I got my frame, my windowsill, my bottom sash, and my top sash. So I just need to go through with a smaller brush and just finish off that little detail, especially on the inside of these openings. And then I will touch up the sheepskin on this wall and choose my wallpapers for the other one. I'm trying to decide on my wallpaper, and there's several options in here. I kind of want to stay away from the pink and mauve colors. I like this pattern, but I think it might be too busy. Maybe just do it for the top of the wall. But maybe the bottom of the wall. Maybe the top of the wall. I can do this for the bottom and then kind of resemble the outside. I think I like that. My other option is the green with maybe the stripe. I think that's too vertical. The stripe on the bottom and leave the top plain, kind of like that, or maybe these little rainbows. I think that looks too contemporary, so I think with our print, because I'm going to use this for the curtain. I think that will work. This is the same colors. Well, this is a hard one because this picks up the browns and the trim and is a little bit more neutral. I think I'm going to go with the more neutral. It kind of reminds me somehow of like tree bark for the tree, and it's close enough in the family. I think I'm just going to do 2 strips and have the chair rail, because I have furniture and the bed and then the curtains, because the bed will have this gray as the bumpers and that will allow me the rug not to clash with any more patterns, because this is more of a texture. I'm going to do that. I have my 2 pieces of wallpaper, or in this case actually scrapbook paper, pre-cut, and I'm going to use something called nori paste. I like this because it's a starch-based glue, but you get really good flat results. It is clear and invisible, as you can see here, and if somebody buys, or when somebody buys this piece, if they decide that they don't like the wallpaper, they'll actually be able to wet the paper, and it's water soluble, so they'll actually be able to peel it off. So, and since I have my saran wrap here, I'm going to use that. And because it's slow drying, it'll kind of soak into the paper. But it's not going to cause the paper to bubble. I've actually used this for, I found this stuff when I used to do Japanese washi crafts. So, and it doesn't dry shiny like PVA glues will. I'm gonna go ahead and just put a thin coat on the very edges of the wall. Just that way, if I didn't get to the very edges of the paper. And as always, when you have a glue-to-glue bond like this, it's stronger, I find, in the end. So, I'm gonna center that in that corner, kind of get it squished down here to the baseboard. I'm going to take one of my popsicle sticks, and I'm just going to kind of press down those edges, make sure there's no big bubbles in there. Oh yeah, I'm actually liking that. I hope you guys like that. I think it kind of fits in along with the style of the fabric, that kind of whimsical print, kind of that hand-drawn style. So, because the nursery is going to have a lot of handmade pieces to it, so I think that's a good match. And then once I get the shelf on the wall and the crib over there and some artwork, I don't think it's going to be as busy, because you're not going to see as much of it. And just trying to get those edges. And because it doesn't dry right away, I can reposition my paper until I get it exactly as I want it. Okay. And this will rinse out, so I can reuse my glue brush. So, again, put it into that corner. I like wallpapering dollhouses much better than trying to do this on houses. Gosh, you gotta have to make sure that you match your pattern from sheet to sheet. Then we have to kind of do the end here. Feel some of the paste where it's thicker in spots. So kind of pushing that out using my popsicle stick as a squeegee. And yeah, I like that. I hope you guys do too. Okay, so we're almost done assembling. I have my pieces done, and before I put my inside frame, I'm gonna have to do a little bit of sanding because things kind of swell up as expected. I'm gonna see, I think I have some black tulle netting, so when I put the glazing, I'm actually gonna put a layer of tulle over it, so it'll look like there's a window screen. Because, you know, go overboard, right? I do have my tool, excuse me. So I do have my screening material. I have my acetate sheets for my glass in my frames, and I am going to use this Rapid Fuse Ultra Clear Glue, and I have scissors, and I have an X-Acto, and we'll see if this pencil will leave a mark on the acetate. So this is my interior window trim and my windowsill, so I'm going to set those aside. The first thing I want to do is for the outside, I want to make the glazing to fit on the top here. It's Saturday, but it's 0 degrees outside and -10 with the wind chill, and it's kind of chilly in my room up here. Originally I was going to hang on to the window until next week, but let's just go ahead and finish this. That'll finish that process. I recorded putting the glass in the window frames, but you couldn't see it because it was out of camera. So what I did was, let's see if it'll focus, but if you can see, I took my acetate sheets and I put glass on the back side of the bottom sash, and for the top sash, or the back one, I glued the window material. Let's see if I can get it flash for you. And I also applied some of this tulle. It's black, so the idea is it kind of looks like it has a window screen. So I've been letting my glue dry. I got this Rapid Fuse in the hardware store, and it's supposed to work. It says it cures in like an hour. Well, it says 24 hours to fully cure, but it's supposed to be workable within an hour. But I think with the cold and the humidity, it's still kind of sticky. But I'm gonna try to trim the excess off and go ahead and get this in my window. And I'm gonna move my camera a little bit. You're gonna see kind of the mess we got going on in here. So I'm just running my trusty number 10 X-Acto. Yeah, this stuff takes a lot longer to dry than I think I'm okay. I think I waited long enough. At least I can put it in the window. I'll have to apply more glue anyway, so I just didn't want the tool to come off. So, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to assemble my window. I did need to come in and clean up a little bit of this so it would go all the way in. And since this is supposed to be clear, I kind of thought that if any of this oozed out, it would be clear and shiny. Maybe it'll kind of look like caulking. So, put our top sash in here, and it is a tight fit. I want to get it all the way down. So that is in there, and that's pushed all the way to the front. I have my screen. Gotta be careful with that because the netting isn't very strong. Let's see if I can clean that. Get some of the sawdust bits that were attracted. The acetate likes to collect static, so. Now I want to make sure I don't get any glue on my lower sash. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop that in there. And I'm not going to glue it, and I can see I've got just a little bit of space. So that should come up and down. And I don't want to use that multi-surface glue on the wood trim because it's very thin bodied and I don't want to get any glue down in here. I just want glue just barely around that edge. And I think I'm just going to use my white PVA glue so I can get a nice thin line. Oh, it is cold in here. Okay. I don't think this is going to work. I don't want to use the wood glue, so I think this might be one of the few applications where my small nozzle glue gun is going to win the day. So I'm going to have to plug that in and let that warm up just a bit. I'll be applying just a very small bead of glue right in here. My window frame goes in that, and then I cut out a couple of notches because my windowsill just fits in there like that. And that gets just a little bit of glue on the ends and where it meets, and that I can use my PVA glue for. And then we should have a working window. And that will be the end of this week. Next week we're going to start, I need to draw some pictures for Corey so that we can make our changing table with its little tray. And I'm going to start measuring and working on the furniture pieces to go in here. That will be next. So, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.